In this ever-changing modern world, we're always striving to find ways to solve problems. AI is being used in new and interesting ways to simplify human tasks or work alongside people. Right now, it's in its infancy, and there's no real threat of an AI takeover. But what will life look like in a few decades? Some things need a human touch. No amount of programming or algorithms can take the place of interacting with people. Eliza looks at what counseling or therapy would look like if it was controlled by a computer and people were the UI. Released in 2019 on PC, Mac, and Switch, Eliza is a visual novel that follows Evelyn as she starts her job as a proxy for the counseling program. Eliza, the game, was named after the first program that attempted artificial intelligence back in the 1960s. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe for more videos like this, and of course, more OK Gaming. The basic premise of Eliza is that it will process a person's speech, different vitals, and vocal distress, then come up with a script for the proxy to read.
What do you think it'll take to get to this ideal scenario?
They can't go off script, and they have to read exactly what they're told, regardless of what they feel should be said.
Yeah, we get people in who demand to speak to a real human being. It happens often enough that we made Eliza capable of handling it with a special script. It's nice to know things are working as designed.
Do you think that guy will be okay? He seemed pretty unhappy.
Who knows?
Focus on you for the moment.
I was reading the speech process, and as with many languages, context is key. Darren is Evelyn's first client, and he tells her about his problems in a normal, casual way. Eliza picks up key words and separates them into positive and negative, but doesn't take into account the context they're used in.
And how does thinking about getting fired for that make you feel?
Honestly, I'd feel good about it. They don't deserve me dragging them down. Everyone there is smart and motivated and has a wonderful, promising career. You have beautiful, successful people. We moved to a swanky new building, expensive area, fancy restaurants, fancy bars. Everything is nice. Everything is nice, and I feel terrible.
This leads to certain words being processed incorrectly and builds an inaccurate profile of the client. Darren starts begging to speak to Evelyn as a person and not through a script. Eliza does account for this and outputs a script that sounds human but lacks empathy.
No. Look, I'm done with this. Like, I shouldn't even have come. This is making me worse. Why can't you just talk to me as you? You, the person sitting there. I don't want to talk to a machine. The person who's sitting in front of me, I want her to say something. I want that person to say something, please. Anything, please. Please.
Okay. Hi, Darren.
Is that really you?
Yes, it's me.
You're not following the script right now? Wait, say something weird. Say something only a human would say.
Darren, I'm going to get in trouble if I deviate from Eliza for too long.
Oh, I know,
My real name is Evelyn.
Yeah? Well, it's, nice to meet you, Evelyn. I didn't expect you would actually do that for me.
It ends with recommendations of breathing exercises, using a wellness app, and finding a medication that may or may not help.
Back to the program, huh?
First, I'm going to send a set of breathing exercises for you to do. Use them when things start to feel like too much. You'll find them in the Skanda Wellness app on your phone. Second, I recommend asking your doctor or psychiatrist about Anexafen. Based on my analysis, this medication might help you feel better.
After this first session, I did feel quite uncomfortable in the thought that this would be therapy one day.
Look, I'm
I've been in bad brain situations, and the least helpful thing is to talk to a robot.
Please confirm that you understand the recommendations.
Yes, I did. Thank you.
Ray is in charge of things and has access to every session in order to check if Eliza is working correctly.
Why? What happened? Hold on, I can check the log.
You're going to listen to the session? Is that okay?
Oh yeah, I have privacy clearance. This is still a new service, so we need to be able to monitor sessions for a variety of reasons. There could be bugs in the software we need to examine more closely. We're pretty upfront about all this.
Again, this makes the therapist in me squirm, as no records are private, and each session is broken down into statistics and algorithm adjustments.
Who knows?
Evelyn is clearly shaken by this whole ordeal, feeling powerless and wanting to know if Darren will get the help he needs, outside of a reminder or general information.
All we can do is suggest those things, tell them they really ought to be doing it. Ultimately, they're the ones who have to decide to follow the plan. It's kind of a shame. I wish we had more leverage. We'd help way more people if we could track their compliance. But that's probably too much to ask for at this point.
Maya is the next client, and though she seems to be in a different mental state to Darren, the questions Eliza writes are very similar in general. This can be helpful and allows broader thinking from the client, but in this instance it feels like box ticking and avoiding challenging situations that Eliza might not be programmed for.
And how does that make you feel?
I feel like, why? Like, why was I invited to this? I'm nobody. I am a serious, gigantic nobody. I don't have a show I'm doing or any collections out or a webcomic everybody loves. I mean, I tried to do those things, but nobody cared. I don't have fans or followers. I'm not even sure I have friends, like for real friends. I tried. I do try. I put my art online and update my social media accounts, and I try to post consistently like they say to do, but yeah.
Maya's session ends with identical recommendations as before: stress management, wellness app, medication. As with Darren, Maya is told about the reminders, but she, as with most people, doesn't always act on them, as they're just messages on a screen rather than something that feels important.
First, I'm going to suggest a set of stress management exercises for you to do. You'll find them in the Skanda Wellness app on your phone. They may be able to help you with your nervousness. Second, I recommend asking your doctor or psychiatrist about litosenal too. Based on my analysis, this medication might help you feel better.
Drugs. Yes. Whatever you said that was called, I am on it.
You will get a reminder to check in with us in a few weeks.
I always do. I always get the reminder. I mean, not that I always act on it.
After this session, Evelyn states that she just wants to interpret Eliza's script, rather than read straight from it. Ray brushes it off as growing pains, as most proxies have them when they start.
Are you getting used to the system now?
I still feel like it's kind of restrictive. I wish I could interpret what Eliza prompts instead of reading it exactly.
Yeah, it's like I said, a lot of new proxies run into this. They'll say, if only I could just talk to them for real, if only I could say what I really wanted to say. That's a really common feedback point.
You're never tempted to break away from the script yourself?
Nah, it's just not part of the job, you know? I learned to compartmentalize pretty early on, and that always served me well. People overestimate their own abilities.
It feels almost as if proxies are meant to slowly unlearn their humanity and empathy and just trust a program to make the right decisions.
Sure, hasn't ever.
For some, this may be a really boring, slow game with too much reading and not enough going on. It's a thought-provoking story and game that explores the nature of human condition and therapy, delivering it in a gentle but very real way. The story and clients get more in-depth the longer you play, and player choices can affect the ending, which is a small but important detail for a game like this. People have always turned to others for counsel or advice through history, and talking therapy is a distillation of this practice. As many people know, mental illness was considered demonically influenced or untreatable with contemporary medicine for decades. It wasn't until the late 1900s that Sigmund Freud started developing a talking cure in Vienna, and psychology was applied in a clinical capacity around the same time at the University of Pennsylvania. This sparked more and more research on the human mind, specifically human behaviors such as conditioning, compliance, and social learning. Talking therapy was a catalyst for psychoanalysis, which many theorists built upon to shape modern-day psychology and enabled us to create less physically invasive, more personal treatments for people with mental illnesses. Mako Powered, who helps me out with these videos, mentioned that this is considered a serious game, which focuses on real-world issues or historical events that don't rely on entertainment or fun, but may still contain those traits. The most successful example is the Oregon Trail, which shows a player the struggles American colonists had to face, with players losing members of their caravans to disease or starvation. As depressing as this may sound, the original game was so popular, with players learning from their previous runs and applying new knowledge and strategy to future playthroughs. The challenge of surviving was the main focus, and it was delivered in a way that players were not expecting traits they could find in other genres, such as fantasy spellcasting or a detailed storyline to follow. There were no bells and whistles, just historical experiences and a teaching moment. While reading up about Eliza, I came across a company called Games for Change, which focuses on games that engage in contemporary social issues in a meaningful way. In short, they focus on games that have a theme that can help a player understand or learn more about social interactions, be it mental health, history, environmental issues, or even politics. There were so many games on this list that some people may not even realize have these themes, or just see them as a background trait of a character or story. Overall, Eliza is a game that will appeal to a niche audience and will need players to be in a good headspace to play. Though it can feel boring or too close to reality, games like these are important now and again to remind people what it is to be human, that we all feel a certain way sometimes, and talking things out can really help.
Well, yeah, I am. I'm terrified. What if I suddenly remember I'm a failure and shouldn't be drinking their booze and breathing their air?
This was fun. Let's do it again sometime. And if you like what you saw, don't forget to subscribe and leave a like down below.